Hello, I'm Elisa Zhang, and I'm a physician and life coach. Today, I like to talk about boundaries. So boundaries are something that we can set in order to kind of protect ourselves. It's easy to think of a physical boundary. So for example, if you live in a single family house, you've got your house and you've got your property around it. And if someone crosses into your property, then they're trespassing. And so that's a very easy example of a physical boundary. We also have boundaries around us, right? We have our personal space. Someone gets too close to that personal space, we may withdraw. But we can also set emotional boundaries as well. And these are all things to kind of protect us. So an easy example of a boundary is if someone starts yelling at you and looks like they're going to be physically aggressive towards you, you're probably going to run away, or say that you're going to call the police. So that boundary would be, if you're yelling at me, I'm going to leave the situation. Or, if you start to touch me or physically attack me, I'm going to call the police. So there are two parts to a boundary. There's the request and there's the consequence. In the request, you're saying if that person does a certain behavior, or maybe if they don't do a certain behavior, then you're going to react with a certain consequence. Notice the consequence is what you're going to do because you can't actually force them to do anything. So let's say you've got a friend who will just drop by when they're in the neighborhood. And sometimes it can be disruptive because even though you're home, you're trying to get work done and you don't always have time to kind of sit and chat with this friend. So what you can do to set a boundary is let the friend know, hey, I love seeing you, but if you could please call or text me first before you come over to see if I'm available or free, then that would be really helpful. If you just come over, if you pop on over without letting me know and my telling you that, yes, I'm available to spend some time with you, then I'm not going to answer the door. And so if the friend then, drops on by, starts knocking on the door, you need to respect that boundary to yourself and not answer the door. And sometimes this can be hard at first because you don't want to hurt your friend's feelings, you don't want to sacrifice relationship. But in the end, if you're always frustrated or annoyed when your friend's coming over unexpectedly and disrupting your work, that's also not going to be good for the friendship. So we set these boundaries from a place of love, from a place of protecting ourselves, and a place of actually wanting to protect the relationship with the other person. It can be hard to kind of stand your ground in a boundary, but if you don't stand your ground, then that person doesn't ever learn that this is a real boundary. So if you've got the friend who, keeps coming over and you keep letting them in and letting them disrupt, eventually that's going to cause more frustration on your part if you're not able to get all your work done. If this really truly is a place of frustration for you. If it's not, then maybe this isn't a boundary you want to set. But if it's really something that's starting to affect your thoughts and feelings about, this friend, then setting the boundary of not opening the door when they come unexpectedly will actually in the end strengthen the relationship because the friend will learn, okay, I need to call or text before I go over and get the okay. And then you can have a new, set of habits so that, if you're available and you want to see the friend, great, they can drop on by. And if they drop on by unexpectedly, you're just not going to answer the door. You're going to keep doing your work. And it won't take too many times before the friend realizes, oh, she really meant that. I should call or text ahead of time. And that is the point of the boundary. So if you're having any kind of issue with anyone in your life where they're constantly doing something that you're just kind of tolerating and putting up with, but it's really causing you stress or frustration or some other negative feeling, you may want to consider what kind of boundary you want to set around that. And then discuss it with that person. If you do this behavior, then this is going to be my reaction, or this is the consequence that I'm going to do. And with that, you can actually develop deeper relationships and really clear things up. I think being open with people is really important to establishing good, strong relationships. Now, remember with boundaries, you don't want to use them to manipulate the relationship. You just really want to be clear on, what outcome that you want from the boundary that you set. So I hope this was helpful for you. If these videos are helpful, I would love it if you subscribe to this YouTube channel. I would love to work with you. If you've got issues with people in your life, relationship issues that you need to set boundaries, that's definitely something we can work on together. If you'd like to work with me, please set up a discovery call at my website, growyourwealthymindset.com. Thanks for watching.